It's a mellow Sunday morning with the DTOW crew. Sorry.
Not quite the flute that we were rocking last week.
No. Little low energy, but hey, Sunday morning.
I prefer to think of it as smooth, but not, low energy has a negative connotation, right?
I guess. Yeah, all right, smooth energy. Is that what you...
Yes. My favorite kind of energy. Nice and smooth.
Nice and smooth.
With a V.
Sometimes they rhyme slow. Sometimes they rhyme quick.
All right. Episode 45, a nice even number. Technically not an even number, but it just feels better than 44 to me.
Yeah.
45 just seems like a nice, like bam, 45.
It's monumental, really. I mean, it's 5 away from 50. So we're moving in the right direction.
So I need to ask you I need to tell people out there. I texted you, was it yesterday?
Yes.
I texted you yesterday because my wife now, in a dramatic turn of events, it's April, the 15th?
Yes.
It's April 15th. Last Christmas, a few short months ago, you received a treadmill. Again, I know you think nobody's discovering this, but just in case. We need to rehash.
Well documented.
So
all right.
So you got a treadmill for Christmas. You used it for a few weeks.
Yeah.
On and off.
Yep.
You were really going like balls deep on it for a solid week, it felt like.
Initially.
Initially. And then it sort of
kind of tailed off, as treadmills will and do.
Especially around the Super Bowl, it felt like you were sort of like, limping to the finish line.
Finishing up my training. Just a month or so later.
So you don't really use it. It's been a joke. #Dreadmill, the whole thing. So fast forward to yesterday, my wife, today's Sunday, so Saturday morning, she texts me. It might have been Friday. Who cares? And I get this weird text. In fact, I'm going to read it to you because it was so random. Only a wife does this to her husband, right? Like these are the little fun things that led us to want to make a podcast.
So this is more random than what you've been doing to me lately. I disagree. Because while you search for that, I want the audience to understand what you've been doing over the weekend to me as we've been conversing back and forth via text.
Remind me, I'm going to jot that down. I'm testing out a new way to respond to somebody via text.
It's horrible.
But it's a way if you don't want them, like, for example, you with... So it doesn't work there anymore. So you with Phil, if you get a text message and you feel like you need to reply, I'm not saying this is what you do. This is what I would do. If I get a text message from somebody and I don't want them to think like I'm just blowing them off, I'm going to show you how to respond, and then you can kind of be like, oh yeah, my phone's acting weird. And then you have proof that it's acting weird. So I'm going to jot this down here, and then we're going to come back
to
this.
Put it on the show notes.
Circle back to it. How I respond to people who I don't want to respond to.
And you did that twice to me,
well, it was
which
a
is
test.
nice.
It was a test.
You're a monkey.
What?
I don't know. I'm your little monkey.
How I respond to people who I don't want to respond to. All right. So let me read you what the wife wrote.
Okay.
So on Friday, she had to go get blood work or something. It sounds like I should know exactly what she was doing, but a lot of appointments. Okay. Friday at 3:20 in the afternoon, she had just left for some appointment that she had. I don't know. It wasn't serious. She leaves the house, okay? Gets in the car. Bye, love you, whatever. Gets in. I see the car drive away, and I'm like, movie time, So I'm scrolling through my Netflix.
Me time.
All right. Yeah. So I grab my chips, my Tostitos, things that I like to nibble on when she's not around, so I feel guilt-free. Grab a fresh ginger beer, laying out, got the heating pad going, and I get this text from her probably 12 minutes after she left the house. can you ask Jim if his treadmill does one-touch intervals?
Texting while she drives.
Yeah. So it's interesting, right? Like this was clearly in your mind before you left the house, but you needed to get in the car and start driving to realize that you needed this information at this time. So I write, I will. And she writes, I may just get one. I need it.
Oh.
And a free weight set. And I write,
my.
Now at this point, I am concerned that she's driving, but I'm thinking like, what? Like I actually write on the thing, what? My face even does that as I'm typing.
I mean, you're talking about
what?
A treadmill and a free weight set?
Well, not a bench and things like that. Like she wants like maybe 3 sets of maybe like a 10, 15, 25, something like that. Like not, something that can like fit under the couch or whatever. She's not looking at,
she's not looking at
barbell
an Olympic weight set.
No, she doesn't do that shit. So this is what I write. Relax, period. Talk later. I mean, she didn't respond to that.
She probably didn't take too kindly to it.
We didn't get into an argument over it. So I'm thinking that it was on the up and up.
Let me talk to her about this treadmill when we get offline.
Because how do you respond to something like that? How do you respond to something like that?
I wasn't given the opportunity to respond to something like that. I wasn't asked. I wasn't consulted in any fashion.
You're getting the gift of
Merry Christmas. Here's a treadmill. Oh, thanks. I love it.
Yeah, I gave this to you
for
your wedding. This model?
Yeah. I'm glad you were able to kind of intercede there because I don't think that it's a wise purchase.
When she goes to the gym, she spends 70 to 80% of her time there on a treadmill. So what she doesn't like, and I learned this over the weekend, is my wife doesn't enjoy working out in public. I didn't know. This is like a new development. She doesn't like being at the gym. I didn't know that.
Okay.
I don't know if that makes, me not a good
I
husband.
respect that. Okay.
So she loves to do interval training, like sprint balls out 30 seconds, run for 30 seconds, walk uphill for a minute and a half, then start it all over. She's very concerned that they replaced all the treadmills at the Y. This is the other reason why she stopped wanting to go. You got to like reef on the arrow up button.
Right.
There's no one touch like +5 speed or -5.
Yep.
So
Okay.
she's like, I don't know if I'm doing that right. Like,
wait, I think, is it?
it's like,
Yeah, it's more like that, maybe.
like with 2 hands or like one, I don't know where I'm going with that. I don't know if that's what she's doing, but that's what I'm envisioning. Right?
I mean, if she's doing that, I can see why she doesn't want to run in public. That's,
Get the wide angle. So super mature.
Right.
So anyway, that's a thing in our house. I thought it was hilarious. So I texted you and asked you if your treadmill does one-touch intervals, and this is the response I get. I'm trying to get information from my wife here.
You'd think a reliable source like myself, who's an avid treadmiller, would be able to provide you with what you need.
Does your treadmill have one? This is me now speaking.
Okay.
Does your treadmill have one-touch interval adjustment? Like instead of manually adjusting the treadmill speed, you can hit one button for +5 or whatever. Makes sense? You write, I think so. I'm never on it. Not once did you text back and go, yeah, hey, let me run downstairs and check.
Yeah, I could have. I don't think you caught me at home though when I responded to that. But yeah, I have no idea if it does that or not. When I do the if and when I use it and I do the workouts that I can see like on the screen, because as I've said in the past, this is quite the model, right?
Got the up, down.
I can follow a trainer through, Malibu or whatever.
Up,
down.
Yeah.
That will change automatically. They essentially take control of it, like the program. So I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
Still doesn't help you.
You're never on it.
I will check it out for you maybe later today when I get home, and I'll see what I can. I still don't. I don't know if I still agree with the purchase here for your household. I understand. She seems like she's.
It's hard for me.
A treadmiller.
It's hard for me to say. This is the thing with the guys, right? People are going to understand this. It's impossible for them not to. Bold statement here. Okay, I'm prefacing. If you don't understand what I'm saying, you're an asshole. How about that?
That.
This is that delicate, you want to take in all of the information because I agree with you 100%, yet I somehow also don't. So allow me to explain.
We will provide you a little leeway here.
Yeah, just give me a little rope here, please. I don't want to do anything that discourages my wife from working out or being healthy. It's not like, and her and I have actually had some testy conversations because it's not about a number on a scale for me. It's about, I married this person. I want her to be doing the things that I should be doing as well to stay healthy, be healthier when I'm older, all that stuff, right?
Sure.
Obviously being fit and fitting and clothes is great
together
too.
and good health. I get
Right.
it.
Like her mom is a big workout fiend, big into CrossFit and stuff. Wasn't like that her whole life, I'm assuming, but it's admirable. She's, I believe, in her 50s and, works out pretty religiously. I find that admirable. And so like if I have a wife that can push me on days I don't feel like doing something and vice versa, to me, that's valuable. I see the value in that. So it's hard for me to say, no, honey, I think getting a treadmill is a stupid idea. Why don't we just continue to pay? In this case, we go to Planet Fitness now, open up down the road for $10 a month and just do that. But
I mean, that is a judgment-free zone. Does she realize that?
Yeah. My house isn't, oddly enough.
Right.
But I think it's I know how she treats money. And I know if it were me, she'd be like code red. Like he's going to purchase this and it's not going to be used after the first 2 weeks.
The problem is that you would purchase it 2 weeks later, you'd be looking to return it for another model.
Right.
And there's a whole bunch of stuff going on.
We're going to get into all that here.
Don't give away all of the show notes. Look at that piece of paper. This is
very extensive show
notes. This is how we do.
Right. Preparation off the charts. Huge. I can do it now. Huge.
This is why we're number one in our demographic.
In the industry.
Right.
So my point is, I'm interested if anybody else has to go through this, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. But you want to make a smart financial decision, but you also want to weigh like, okay, I want to encourage this lifestyle.
All right, that makes a lot of sense, and I appreciate you wanting to support her on that. And
she wants to, by the way, just to put some context here, she wants to cancel her gym membership.
Okay.
To make up for like.
Well, it doesn't make a lot of sense to keep if she's spending 70 to 80% of the time on a treadmill. You have a treadmill at the house,
and she's got that thing where she doesn't want to work out in front of other people.
And if she's gonna get some kind of free weights, just little dumbbells or something, so that she can do other stuff, that might make a lot of sense. I don't know. I guess if she does that on a regular basis at the gym, that's not something, if and when I was going to the gym, that I would spend that much time on. I'd either start a day there or end it, for a little quick hit, and then that was it. I just didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
But nobody asked me if I enjoyed it.
She loves running intervals, which is weird because like on the street and stuff, she doesn't like jogging or running outside. But she, for some reason, likes the treadmill.
She's an indoor cat.
Yeah. She is now. Wasn't when I met her. It's evidenced by the fact we met on Tinder. I'm not allowed to talk about that because you don't know about this, but my friend and a good friend of the show, Ira, gives me a lot of shit that I talk down on meeting people online, even though I met my wife there. It's a whole thing.
You have a double standard.
Do I? No, I don't. I just think that it's, when you tell people that's who you meet your wife, they're like, are you sure this is a good idea? And I would be right there with them saying the same thing. What do you want from me?
I don't know.
So what's the move? You didn't answer my question. If you're a guy in general, do you encourage? Because you're in a unique position to answer this, right? Your family made a purchase over the holidays that you weren't 100% sure would be used.
So yeah, and here's the difference, though, and we talk a lot about this because we come from two different households, right?
Very different ethnic backgrounds.
What?
I'm German and a little bit of Italian, but mostly German and English.
Okay, well, we're not judging.
You're clearly French and a little bit Irish.
So we have a joint account a single account where money flows in and money flows out. You have
many accounts.
Many accounts. You have your own account. You've got your joint account. She has her own account.
Yep, and
right?
probably a secret account I don't know about.
Yeah, I guarantee that floats around somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
But where, maybe this shouldn't matter, but where would this purchase come out of?
The way she texted it to me was that she said, like, I might just buy it. Like,
Okay.
I might just do it quick.
Okay.
Or something. First of all, we've had this conversation on and off for over a year, so it wouldn't be an impulse
It's not
purchase.
an impulse buy.
Right.
She's thought about it. She's probably done some research on it.
Right. But I think the way she's spinning it to me is that it would be a purchase that she made with her account. She hasn't asked me if it would be a joint thing. She also is not the type of person to go, screw you, you didn't help me pay for it. You can't use it. Right.
That'd be awesome.
Maybe I would throw a few bucks. I don't know.
Right. And maybe it shouldn't make such a big deal to me, but it kind of does. And I think that if she's going to purchase it outright herself, right, with money she's saved, her play money, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
then I would encourage it. I would help her pick it out. I personally would even come over and help you bring it into the house.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it that way. You hate to see somebody else make, even if is with their money, but you're right. At the end of the day, it's not pulling out of our joint
Because
cash.
if she truly thinks she's going to use it. See, the problem with my situation was that there was no guarantee that I was ever going to use it because we never discussed whether or not I wanted it. Do you know right?
Oh, yeah, I know exactly.
So
you were in the dark.
I was in the dark. I was blindsided with a wonderful Christmas gift that I don't necessarily enjoy using because I don't like running. And when I do run, I kind of like running outside. Like running on the treadmill. I mean, I guess it's cool, you throw an ESPN in the morning or something, but
yeah.
Still, I think I kind of would rather run outside, but I don't even do that. So it's not as if I'm doing something other than what I should be with the treadmill. But so in that sense, I feel like it was a bad purchase, but she seems to want it, right? I mean, the treadmill.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know where I was
wasn't sure
going.
where the conversation was headed at that point.
She definitely wants it. She's going to get it, too. I guarantee it.
How dare. Well, the other thing we could talk about, hold on. I'm going to write something down. You start talking.
This is what happens,
Talk
right?
to the fans.
The show just grows and builds in the middle of the show. This is the type of excitement and the type of content that you get when you subscribe.
It's organic.
Subscribe. Hit the subscribe button.
It's here. Like a couple of udders.
What? Udders?
Yeah, like on a
Yeah,
cat.
I know. Yeah. You just wrote it down. Say it.
No, I'm not gonna. There's nothing to say now. But the treadmill thing is over.
Okay.
I'll tell you if we're gonna purchase one. We did have a quick conversation about where it's gonna go. I don't want it anywhere in this room, and I don't want it in my living room. She's fine with the basement.
Oh.
My only concern is she hates being in the basement. So I don't know.
It's not going to go in this room.
So quickly, we were talking about your taxes earlier, which got me thinking about the deadline's the 17th, so I think that's Tuesday.
Yeah.
So your deadline to file your federal taxes is Tuesday, whatever. You and I sounds like we're in the same boat where we're filing them. I went to my accountant yesterday, which is Saturday. Your wife is doing them today.
Right now, as we speak, right before we went live here,
I
got
time.
a phone call.
Plenty of time to spare.
Right.
I had to file for an extension. We're not going to talk about this that much, but I want to warn people out there because once in a while it's nice to do a service to
Cautionary tale.
Yes.
We do provide a service.
To for
It's one of the cornerstones of Don't Tell Our Wives, to provide a service.
the bedrock. Just always wanted to say that. Sounds cool. If you're out there and you buy and sell things,
like treadmills. Your body.
right, the treadmill could go toward that. So one of the things apparently the IRS and or PayPal, I don't know if it was a joint sort of effort. It's my understanding the IRS wanted to crack down on this, and this is what PayPal has done. So maybe somebody out there knows a little bit more about it than I do. So my accountant was trying to tell me this. Long story short, every time you sell something on eBay or anywhere, anytime you have money deposited into your PayPal account, I believe there is a clause, the friends and family clause you can check on there that doesn't count. But anything from a third party, a vendor, a business, whatever, counts now as income. But there's a threshold. So if you have 200 transactions within the calendar year or at least $20,000 put into your PayPal account, that will causes PayPal to report to the IRS, and you get a 1099-K, I think it is. Here's why I'm talking about this. You might be thinking to yourself,
K
what?
for killing you slowly.
Right. K for see you next Tuesday, if you want to spell it that way. That's how I thought. It's not right. So I'm gonna back it up here and explain to you why this is an issue. Because when you get the 1099, you're instantly essentially considered self-employed or like a contractor. So that money that they report over the 20,000. Now, over the 20,000, it's not anything over the 20,000. If you get $23,000 in 12 months in 2017, let's say for example, deposited into your PayPal account, now you're being taxed $23,000 on that $23,000, not $3,000. So moving forward, bear with me here. Where this becomes an issue is, well, it's an issue anyway, right? Because now you're going to get taxed on it. But the rate of tax goes up because of self-employed tax apparently is higher than our payroll tax we have with our job. So, which I didn't know that. That was a fun treat. The other thing is, they don't care about fees. So let's say all these transactions were through eBay. They don't care about fees. They don't care about shipping costs. And they don't take into account refunds. So I want to paint a picture here for our audience. You're going to think I'm even more crazy when I tell you this, but here's why it's possible. I exceeded that threshold. And here's how.
Hold on. You've exceeded the $20,000 threshold.
Yes, I have met the requirement where PayPal sent me a 1099-K for kill me. Baller, but in reverse, because now I owe thousands.
Right.
So apparently,
buying crazy shit.
Let's just say, for an example, for the audience, you buy something for $3,000. You save up, maybe you sell a couple things that you've had, and you're like, you know what? I want to buy this camera. It's $3,000. You're thinking about. I'm not saying that this is exactly what I did, but I'm painting a picture. Let's say you think to yourself, you know what? I might want to start a side hustle, a side business. I want to be a wedding videographer, maybe photographer, and try to charge money for some jobs, whatever. So that can be an expensive endeavor. So let's say you purchase something for a few $1,000s, and then you buy a couple of lenses, whatever, and you're looking at a few grand, right? Let's say you use this item for a month, and you go, I used it. I took it on a trip. I don't know it's going to meet all my needs. It might be too late to return it. So you sell it. And you sell it at, let's say, a 10% hit. Sometimes it wasn't even that much, but it was always at least a slight loss, right? Because you're selling it on eBay. You're selling it, now it's used. So you get, let's say you bought it for $3,000, you sell it for $2,900. That $2,900 going in your PayPal account is now marching toward that $20,000 threshold. Let's say you take that $2,900, you buy another camera for $2,200 and buy some lenses. A month after that, you go, this isn't working out for me. The whole time you knew there was 4 or 5 options that might work. So you march through those options because you're thinking, I want to use these things, right? You can't just go to a store and have them all available and take them on trips, etc.
This is not a fictional story. This is a tale.
The point I'm trying to make is, which is ridiculous to me, okay? I don't care who's in office. I am being double taxed. I purchased items with income that was already taxed.
Right.
I then sold them at a loss.
Right.
Which is my choice. And now I'm going to have to pay taxes on the money that I received from sales where I already took a loss. This wasn't profit. I didn't make money. I didn't buy something and then sell it for 3 times what I paid for.
You're a consumer purchasing items. That's all you are.
I'm getting worked up just talking
Crazy.
about it. Like,
It's crazy.
It's unbelievable.
And this is new this year.
It's new this year. My accountant herself said, she said over 100 people come to her with this thing in hand. And she herself received one because she would take PayPal payments for the accounting services.
Okay.
I don't understand. They never sent a notice out explaining this. Nobody ever said, hey, by the way, you're coming close to this number. You know what I mean? Or here's what's going to happen. They just cut it.
So if you didn't hit that $20,000 threshold,
I'm listening.
None of this, like you wouldn't have any additional money
No.
owed or nothing.
So if you keep it under $20,000 or 200 transactions, right?
Okay.
So you could have $17,000, but if you have 230 separate, like maybe you're a small business that
Sure.
sells like little, I don't know,
Tchotchkes.
like a tchotchke or something.
Love tchotchke.
You know, that's a different story. But the thing that bothers me the most, like I said, is that I never once turned a profit. I'm not selling goods that I created in my own home.
That's crazy.
You know?
So you filed for an extension.
I filed for an extension. The other thing is, which is really asinine, is PayPal doesn't differentiate between refunds. So there's a couple of businesses that I use that allow PayPal to be used to pay. Well, guess what? If a week later I return the item, they put that money back in my PayPal and it's showing up as a payment. And it even says in the 1099 that it's in the fine print that that's legal.
So if you purchase something for $1,000,
Yep, and you return it a week later.
and you return it a week later,
that 1,000 goes towards PayPal's like threshold of that 20,000.
So let's just say,
goal.
so if you purchase that with a credit, well, that's a bad example, with your debit card,
Okay.
right? And then you return this $1,000 item and requested it get put into your PayPal account.
Can't do that.
Okay, all right.
You can't do that. If it's they always refund the payment
From where
made.
it was paid.
But here's
Okay.
the scary thing. PayPal, you can link any credit card you want, any debit card, obviously checking account.
Right.
So I can use like my Discover card through PayPal for the added protection. So when they go to refund, it shows as they're just refunding PayPal.
Could this potentially kill PayPal? Maybe not kill it, but
I
if
think
you've
what
got
it's-
somebody who uses it on a regular basis, like
It's
you
going to
were
hurt
just
it.
describing.
I think it's going to hurt it for. No, I don't think so. Here's why. It's going to hurt it initially. People are going to be stung by this who have like businesses on eBay and everything else. Here's why it's not going to matter. I believe the IRS is applying this tax to all of these pay services, but PayPal's just the biggest one,
Okay.
and the easiest one to use. So it's just affecting that many more people. But I think that this is going to be something that all of these services have to deal with. I got to be honest with you. This is the first time in my life where you hear people complain about taxes, and we'll get into this a little bit later about people's political views and things like food stamps and welfare and things like this. This is the first time in my life where I'm absolutely enraged.
Because you're getting boned. You haven't
but this
probably gotten
isn't-
boned like this before.
But this isn't like, some guy's sitting around the water cooler going, I got to pay insurance and this other person's got,
Right.
must be nice to have. No, this just
the
seems government taking money out of my pocket that they've already taxed me on. This should be illegal. I can't stress this enough. This is going to be a quick little thing.
I love when you get worked up.
It's just, it's unfucking believable. I mean, I'm sitting in this, like I already knew this was going to be a thing when I saw my account. And even she's like, I know. The silver lining is, it's my understanding, this is what she said to me, if you can show everything you purchased that you did ultimately sold, you're good to go. Meaning,
So you start
could
itemizing
deducting.
all these-
Yes.
yeah.
So you
What a
might think,
pain in
well,
the
that,
ass.
yeah, and it does sound like a nightmare. But here's the thing: you take a weekend, you go through your Amazon account, you go through your eBay account,
a weekend.
and you go through your
Jeez,
B&H.
listen
Well,
to
I have a lot
yourself.
of purchases. There's a
Yeah,
lot,
you went over $20,000.
lot of purchases.
I wonder if you were
lot
if
of
you
small
were
transactions.
Yeah, a little less indecisive. I wonder if this would be
now
should
I'm making decisions. Like locking them down right up front. Now I'm making terrible decisions because I'm not even thinking about it. Oh, I own it now. Honey, why you return it? You're never going to use it. Nope, not doing that. I own it. Now I'm a hoarder. It's just somehow I'm saving money. I'm not paying taxes on it twice.
Look what the federal government's done to me.
I don't know. I just think that, I don't know, people out there, if you're driving around, you're like, yeah, the man is sticking it to you. But like, this is that first time Not the Affordable Health Care Act, not programs that I don't even bitch as much as I probably should about our defense spending and everything else, the way we spend as a government.
When this was formulated, if they thought about the impact that it would have on, just say, someone like you, right? Because I recognize what they're looking at, right? They're looking at revenue that they're missing out on.
Yeah, they're just looking at money coming into these accounts.
But the impact, it's because I imagine there's a number of people in your situation, right? Just that indecisive shopper who purchases, expensive items, fiddles with it for a little while, and then decides they want to try something new.
Not to get too technical, but let me put this in perspective, because this is something where in the what's the word I'm looking for? In the
universe,
the world that I travel in,
the back
the
alleys,
seedy underbelly of YouTube, But you could be somebody
dark web.
You might be a small business owner or freelancer, meaning you might do weddings for, let's say, photo or video. Let's say you're a filmmaker, but you make short, like, corporate films, commercials, weddings,
safety videos,
right? Safety shoes. Let's say you're that person and you are reinvesting money from jobs that, so you're technically, let's say you're self-employed, you've got a day job, but you're trying to get into this. And you want to reinvest into your business. So you do that. Let's say you saved up for 2 years and you think, you know what? I want to get a more like commercial production level camera for my corporate shoots, right? Because now I want to go on location. I want to go to places where they look at me, they look at my gear, and I can output to them like, broadcast quality. It's not inconceivable to spend $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 on a camera system. I mean, do you need it? I don't know. But let's say you're a business owner and you're reinvesting. You're like, you know what? This is now going to allow me to get, I had 15 jobs last year and I brought in $18,000 in revenue that I already paid taxes on, right? But I want to reinvest that into my business. So I buy a $30,000 camera. And let's say I use it for 3 weeks. And I go, you know what? It's the image quality is great, but it's slowing down my, whatever it is. I'm going to go with a different one. That's one return you made. And if you use PayPal to purchase the goddamn thing, now you just hit that escalator. The money came back. Or let's say you used it for 6 months and sold it on eBay.
See, that's going to...
Now you're paying again, but now the one thing that you sold, let's say it's not even a return. Like I said, you sold it on eBay 6 months later. You already paid taxes on the money that you used to purchase it.
See, just in that example, and maybe I'm being really naive and I'm missing something, but that's going to have a huge impact on these services.
I think so. It's going to force people to just stick to their decisions, which I don't like to do.
That just seems absolutely absurd. Why would I bother using PayPal for that when I could just purchase it with my credit card or my debit card?
Right.
What's the advantage? Now I'm at a disadvantage for using your service because anything... That's crazy.
Yeah, and you're right. If there's a chance you might return it, I think what bothers me is that in the world of... I'm just using one small example, but you could use this for millions of different things. But
anything you want to keep cold.
Well, things that hold their value, right?
Right.
I'm using camera gear because it's very, very common for people to like... buy a lens, use it on a job, use it on for 6 months and go, I don't really use it that much, so I'm going to sell it. Well, a camera lens can be $3,000.
Right.
It can be $100. So it doesn't, but my point is, you start getting into a world, gun parts, firearms. Well, I think eBay got rid of that, but when they used to allow the sales, things that you purchased, that's it. It's like child support, right? They tax the money that you paid the child support, but let's say you're paying it to your ex-wife. The ex-wife doesn't pay taxes on that as income because it's already been taxed. Right?
Yeah, that's crazy. I feel like there's going to be some kind of ripple effect.
I'm going to stop talking about
this. Because this is the first year that's happened. So,
yeah.
Oh, that's brutal. That's brutal.
So I have to itemize.
Cautionary tale.
Next weekend, that'll be my weekend. I'll be contacting many vendors, making various printouts. Is
that the show? Is that what we're going to do next weekend?
We could.
Episode 46. Jason gets his affairs in order.
Yeah. Get my financial affairs in order. Let's get into what you wanted to talk about. Let's switch gears here because I'm getting a little...
All right, let's calm you down a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's talk about scorekeeping and the lack thereof. You're a big fan of scorekeeping.
I love scorekeeping.
Although you deny scorekeeping is important.
I'm re-embracing the term scorekeeping.
Okay.
Do we want to tell people what we're talking about?
I think we'll get there. So the idea was...
It's implied.
I was curious about how other people go about... I don't want to say arguing, but let's say your significant other... boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, husband, whatever it may be.
Some dude who has a dude, who knows?
So they're gonna make, and it may fall into the line of the treadmill here in your home, but I think it's a little bit of a different spin on it. So let me give you background. We have a table, right? A former dining room table that we used as our
high top.
It's a high top as our dining room table for a number of years. The table itself is approximately like 13 years old. It's currently down in the basement where we refinished the basement, and we have it downstairs. This has come up a couple times where my wife would like to get rid of the table. Now, while I don't totally disagree with it, I did somewhat successfully block her attempt going back a year or so to get rid of it, because I just thought there was a value in the table. Right? It's a sturdy table. It's a decent looking table. It's a little worn, right? It is old.
When you block the attempt, is it just no, or is it
Nope.
Here's why I think we should keep it?
No, it was more of a dance, right? I did a dance around, and I was able to convince her that
Like the Al Bundy, or the
it was a little more. It was more of a shimmy. I had to
got the shoulders pop,
shoulder shrug,
shoulder pop.
Yeah, did a little
Shoulder pop.
I put on some trap music, and it was effective. So the table still resides in our basement.
I've been to your home, your domicile, and we have used that table for food and platters and such and the like, and it was very useful.
I agree, which is why I wanted to keep it. So the question now came up again just a little earlier today that she would like to get rid of the table in lieu of having additional space in the basement, right? So remove the table, create more space for activities, all kinds of things.
Which is ironic, right? Because you're losing furniture.
Right. So I see this as probably something that will come back and have a negative impact long term when we want to use that area for entertaining in some fashion, right? So go back to the Super Bowl, right? Like you said, we had all kinds of food on the table. What she's advocating for is that we have a little card table that if and when we would have people over, because we don't do it often.
Right.
Right. But if we were going to do that, we put everything out on this little card table. Okay. Imagine all the food and stuff that we had for the Super Bowl on this little square card table. It's just not going to work. Right. I mean, it will for certain things. I'm not denying that. It
It's
will
not
for
as
certain
nice,
things.
but it's...
Exactly, right? This is a fully functional table. The chairs are a little wobbly, right? Probably could use a little bit of that wood glue. I don't know, all right? I'm not denying the fact the table's old. It's 13 years old. But so I see this as something that long term, we're going to have people over. There's going to be a situation where I'm just going to be like, would have been good to have that table. And I feel very strongly that'll happen. So how do you... But it's not worth the fight or worth the battle or worth... I did it once. That's it, right? I gave it a valiant effort, saved the table once. I'm not going to bother doing it again. I don't know how we're actually going to get rid of it, if she's going to take a picture of it, put it on like one of those yard sale sites or whatever. But I'm going to just go ahead, get rid of the table. But how do you handle knowing that this probably isn't the best play? Like, so how do people do that? Because I'm just going to go ahead and just let it go. I did throw a little bit of a curveball, though, because we have a piano as well. We have a piano downstairs that we got from a friend of the family when my son was taking piano lessons. I don't know how many years back this was, but
years ago.
Yeah, we were in this house, so at least 4 years ago, at least.
Okay.
The piano was untuned. almost immediately after getting the piano in the house. And for those of you who've never brought a piano in the house before and put it downstairs in a raised ranch, it was no small feat. I said, well, if we're looking to create space, let's get rid of the piano as well.
What was her reaction?
There was a long pause, and then she seemed agreeable to it. But about as agreeable to getting rid of the piano as I was about getting rid of the table, if that makes sense. So, we talk a lot about scorekeeping, right?
I do.
You do.
I love it. I used to hate it. I fought it. I've been working it out in therapy lately.
Now you embrace it.
And I feel better being able to put a title to what it is I'm doing, so I can work through it. But it is what I do, because I'm gonna get deep with you here for a second, and then we're gonna bring it full circle. We're gonna do a full 360, brother.
Whoa.
The reason why I scorekeep, I think, is because I was raised by a single mother. You might be like, what? What is this guy doing? What is the name of this show again? We'll get to that. By episode 100, we're going to have this whole thing nailed down. But this came up, not your piano thing or space, but something similar that got me thinking about this, which is now having me think about your situation.
That's what I do. I'm compelling.
Provocative. Get me going. Because my mom had to do everything, it was very black and white what she did and then what I had to do. If I did this, then she did this. She couldn't do this, so I had to do it. You know, as you get older, right? Like, mom's not going to be home till 8, so I'm doing the dishes, and I'm emptying the dishwasher, loading it up, and I'm cooking for myself. She's going to be home. So what that, I think, created was this very black and white, I do this, you do this, you do this, I do this. Like, it's very easy. It was logical. So in my relationships, I get very, like, especially because I like independent women. It's generally, I'm more attracted to them.
As long as they're not redheads.
Yeah. I didn't eat breakfast yet this morning, but if I did, I'd be vomiting all over this microphone. Of course. Redheads.
How dare you?
Wolf. So, because of that, my wife and I have gone, our dialogue is very open, which is awesome, but we've had some, near misses. And part of it is because if she's asking for me to do things, I don't need her to tell me, like, can you do this? And then I'll do this. But if she asks for something and I'm noticing that, or highlights that I'm not doing something, but I notice that, well, wait a minute. Every time you empty the Brita pitcher, you just leave it next to the sink. How much energy does it take to fill it up? Now, that's one of her things that she doesn't place a high priority on. But that snaps me into this mode of like, wait a minute, I left something on the sink and it's World War III here. And I bring it right up. I don't let it go. Now, is that healthy? Is that normal? No, but I'm giving you some backstory as to why I do it. In your situation, the example that you gave, my gut reaction would be to bring up the piano, because I think that's an awesome idea. First of all, you got to get rid of that thing, right? I speak for the entire audience.
It's not being used whatsoever.
Not at all.
It's not even in tune. I can't even tickle the ivories. I tickle the ivories. It sounds.
I can't even.
Yeah, it's.
I like how that's the read. It's not even in tune.
Not even in tune.
What are we doing here? It's like saying that you're going to get rid of a car because it's not waxed.
You know me in cars. I flip those things like crazy.
So, but I think that it seems like you guys are in a common ground. I think that I'd go a step further if you had to and just say, okay, you've already gone on record saying why you think the table's useful, but if you want to get rid of more space, I think the piano is just as much of a space suck. If you're willing to get rid of the piano, I'm willing to let go of the table. And then it feels like a win, right? But I think
then we get rid of the treadmill.
Well, that's next.
And then
right,
all that space opens up.
I said full circle. We buy the treadmill at a slightly reduced rate.
Through PayPal.
40 to 43% less. Yeah, through PayPal, because I want you to pay taxes on that money. I'm not letting you skate. I don't know. In this particular case, if you're asking what I would do normally, it's a give and take. It's what it is. Well, I like your example of the piano, though.
Yeah, I thought that was a good tit for tat kind of thing.
Oh, I think it's fantastic.
Right? She's somewhat attached to the piano. I mean, I'm not necessarily attached to the table. I think that it's good to have a table down there. Call me crazy.
It's an entertaining space. That
Right.
whole area is for relaxing and or entertaining.
Right. Now, so we'll see. But I was curious, like, because I know, you're doing this with a Brita filter, right? So
A Britter?
Brita? Oh, there's no R. Is that what you're saying?
There's only one R. There isn't an R at the
Right.
beginning and the end.
I apologize.
My wife loves when you do that, by the way.
My regional dialect.
Episode
apparently.
45, Don't Tell Her Why, is brought to you by extra R's and words where they don't belong. Thank you.
You're such an asshole.
Britter. All right, continue. The Brita thing, yeah.
Right. So I'm curious. There's other examples, right?
Just
In every
thousands.
marriage, every relationship. So how do you deal with it? I thought my play was pretty well laid out today. Right? Let's get rid of the table. Okay. You want to create space? Let's get rid of the piano.
I think it's alarming that the piano hasn't been mentioned over a table that gets use, but that's where I'm kind of screwed up, where I'd say the victory for her is that I didn't bring up that this piano has been sucking space for years. Instead, I calmly and constructively said, well, if we're going to make some more space, maybe we get rid of the piano too. And then, like I said, it's a win-win, but I'm working on that part of harboring the, like, wow, you have the nerve to ask me about this table when this
work in
fucking
progress.
piano. Yeah, I mean,
What I will do though is, next time we have people over, I'll just stop putting like the crock pot and stuff on the floor. Just
oh yeah, highlight that or use the treadmill. I mean, just use the treadmill for the food. We'll go up, we'll bend down. I mean, my back's not going to like it, but we'll bend down, scoop the pizza up off the treadmill.
Yeah.
Just don't turn it on.
right.
Except for today when I need you to check
I'll see what
whether or not
happens
it's got
with
the
that.
one touch thing for my wife. Thank you. I had something else I want to talk about. I'm going to save it for episode 46.
That's exciting. I can't wait to see what's on that pad of paper.
Episode 46, I want to talk about politics and how it's ruining my friendships. It's not anybody else's fault. It's my own. But it's still happening. I don't know how to stop it. It's a runaway train.
Nice teaser. In the biz, we call that a tease.
Ooh, tactical. I did want to call Peggy. And the reason is because of that thing that happened earlier in the week. So I went from a great teaser to telling you something that I don't know if we're going to do or not. Maybe we should just do it next time.
What would stop us from doing that?
We could. I don't know if she's like, probably on a Sunday, she's hanging out with her fiance.
This would be a complete blindside.
Oh, absolutely. That's what's great about it.
So, do you have...
I have her phone number.
I don't know if we want to talk about this if we're not going to call her. Because we should probably give some backstory on Peggy. There's a whole lot of stuff here because...
There's a lot of meat. And unfortunately, we're at minute 47, and I just brought this up. Let's tease this 46. 46, she's not going to hear... Even if she does, what is she going to say by her phone?
We'll need to introduce our YouTube audience to Peggy, at least the idea of what Peggy is, right? Who Peggy is,
who she was,
right? Who she was, who she is now, because it's totally different. But I love that idea. Idea.
It's an idea. After this, we're going to get some refreshing water out of my Britter.
Yep.
Okay.
You're from Massachusetts, asshole. I don't know
but
why.
I don't add multiple R's
You're
to these
weird.
words.
You're
You
just
take
weird.
them away as some words, but then you still have them. You hold them in your memory bank and put them in other words.
Whatever.
Yeah, I'll take it out of whatever. But I put it in Britter. Soaker.
What?
All right. The yellow is within the soaker. I'll cut that out.
Okay.
No, I'm not cutting it.
We don't cut.